But in the opening days of the invasion of Poland, the entire world held its breath, watching every move of the German advance. But the battle that delivered the strongest, fastest and most decisive blow wasn't in the north. It was in southern Poland. And the man commanding that battlefield wasn't the famous Guderian, nor the aggressive Rakago. It was Gerd von Rundstedt, a quiet, cold-edged field marshal, a master of classical warfare, who would help make the Blitzkrieg shine. From September 3rd to September 10th, he executed a breakthrough campaign that shattered the entire Polish southern front. A campaign so fast that even the German high command couldn't believe it. Let's go back to the night of September 2nd, 1939, inside a massive command tent in Silesia. Rundstedt stood before a map of Poland. His hand rested on key points: Krakow, Radom, the Vistula River. In the room were his top commanders: Ricky, no of the 10th Army, and Guderian. The armored genius, eager to strike. Rundstedt didn't talk much. He asked just one question. Where will Poland break? Guderian answered immediately. Radom, when they pull back to defend Warsaw, will encircle them from the south. Rundstedt nodded slowly, then issued a bold decision. A full-force assault deep into southern Poland, aimed at piercing the Krakow-Częstochowa alliance. That was the moment. One of the fastest campaigns of World War II began. On the morning of September 3rd, Rundstedt's Army Group South launched its full offensive. The major forces involved were Reichenau's 10th Army, the main strike force packed with tanks, Guderian's armored corps, the Steel Spearhead, and List's 14th Army, covering the right flank and pushing toward Krakow. Hundreds of panzer tanks surged forward in spearhead formations. Above them, the Luftwaffe swept Polish airfields clean and bombed the escape routes. Terrified civilians fled along dirt roads, staring up at a sky swarming with German planes, like iron birds. Villages near the Silesian border shook under falling bombs. Many people didn't even understand what was happening. The Polish forces in the south, especially the Krakow army, resisted fiercely. Their artillery hammered the German armor columns. Infantry dug trenches, demolished bridges, and desperately tried to delay the advance. What remained of the Polish Air Force, despite devastating losses, still rose to challenge the Luftwaffe in the sky. But they were facing a cruel truth. Germany didn't just have more numbers. They had speed the panzers did not wait. They did not stop. They bypassed pockets of resistance, leaving the infantry to clean up behind them. Over and over, Rundstedt sent the same order down the line. No halt, no delay. Swing the right wing toward Redon. From September 4th to the 6th, Reichenau's 10th Army advanced at a stunning pace, covering 30 to 40 kilometers a day. Key defensive points were broken through one by one. Mikosina Krakow kills. By September 6th, German forces had penetrated more than 150 kilometers into Polish territory. Inside the Polish High Command, chaos erupted. Reports flooded in that southern units were being bypassed before they could even retreat. One Polish officer exclaimed in disbelief. Their speed, this is unlike any attack we've ever seen. Then came September 7th and 8th. The trap began to tighten. Rundstedt started closing the encirclement. His target clear. Trap the Polish forces around the city of Radom and pin them against the Vistula River. This was classic German Kesselschlacht. Thinking the cordon battle, Guderian advanced from the northwest. Reichenau pushed from the west. The 14th Army sealed the south. Radom, once a strong defensive zone, was rapidly becoming a gigantic trap. Tens of thousands of Polish troops were stuck. Reserves couldn't reach the front. Supplies were running out. A Polish commander wrote in his diary, "We were not defeated by strength. We were defeated by speed." As Radom neared collapse, the remaining Polish forces tried to withdraw toward the Vistula to protect Warsaw, but that was exactly what Rundstedt wanted. He moved swiftly, pushing Guderian's armor north to cut off the retreat routes to the capital. This single move split the entire Polish defensive line in two. On September 9th, Rundstedt issued his final order. Do not let them reach the Vistula. This will be the largest encirclement of the campaign. And with that, Poland's southern front completely collapsed. Between September 9th and 10th, the Red Dome encirclement was complete. More than half of Poland's powerful Prusy army group was trapped 8 infantry divisions, 2 cavalry brigades, and tens of thousands of soldiers from the Krakow and Kiel sectors. The Germans called it the Radom Castle, the Radom Cauldron. Inside the encirclement, Polish soldiers fought with desperate courage. They had old rifles, horse-drawn artillery, and machine guns with limited ammunition, but they fought to the very end. German soldiers later recalled, they didn't run. They fought until only bayonets were left. But sheer spirit couldn't break a perfectly executed encirclement. What made this campaign a masterpiece was Rundstedt's brilliant coordination. He didn't waste his armor on costly frontal attacks. Instead, he used relentless pressure to force the Polish retreat in the exact direction he wanted. Then he closed the trapper. Textbook execution of classical encirclement tactics. When Hitler heard of the victory, he phoned Rundstedt personally. You have broken the back of the Polish army, he declared. Rundstedt's reply was calm and measured. My Führer, this is only the beginning. After September 10th, the southern Polish forces were effectively destroyed. Rundstedt Army Group South could now advance directly to the Vistula, force the remaining Polish troops back toward Warsaw, and prepare for the final encirclement of the capital. The results of this 80-day offensive were staggering. Over 170,000 Polish troops were killed or captured. The strongest southern defensive line had vanished. Germany now had an open road straight into the heart of Poland. It became one of the most successful operations of the entire invasion. But the real meaning of the southern breakthrough goes deeper. This wasn't just Rundstedt's victory. It was living proof of a perfect combination. Rundstedt's classical encirclement mindset, Guderian's armored speed, Reich's relentless assault style, and the full terrifying power of Blitzkrieg, the doctrine that would change the world. Here in the fields of southern Poland, Blitzkrieg proved itself for the first time. It was no longer a theory, no longer just a concept on paper. It was a real weapon, and it had just crushed Poland's defenses. From September 3rd to September 10th, in just over 1 week, Gerd von Rundstedt, LED, a campaign, that shifted the entire direction of the war. It didn't just open the gates to southern Poland. It pushed the entire nation onto a path with no return. A path toward defeat, division, and the expansion of war across Europe. One campaign, 1 week. One encirclement that changed history. And it all began with the cold. Determination of a German field marshal, standing before a map of Poland in the darkness. On the night of September 2nd, 1939. Thanks for watching. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more deep dives into military history. See you in the next one.